What's going on? Happy Sunday, everybody. We are back. We are back. We are back with another live stream before kickoff. And this is going to be a little bit interesting. I feel like there's a lot of stories developing kind of as we go today. The biggest one being the Chargers. The Chargers situation with Justin Herbert potentially sitting and Keenan Allen still being questionable as well. So I have Keenan Allen in some leagues. I have Mike Williams in some leagues. And I also have James Robinson that I'm debating starting in a league as well. And that applies to Justin Herbert's injury because if Justin Herbert's not going to be playing, the game's going to be in a more run-heavy script for James Robinson. And it could lead to higher production. So I'm not really – I think there's a lot to figure out as we approach kickoff here. Let me go ahead and check one thing. Yeah, and we're good. So in the meantime, if you guys are unaware, what we're doing here is every Sunday at around 11:30, we're going to be tuning in to do a live Q&A / pick'em / Draftkings setup. Just something to hop in and, I'm going to be looking at fantasy football stuff for the entirety of the day today, as I do pretty much the majority of my week, football or no football. But Sundays especially, I'll be on here just getting my lineup set up, getting my pick'em set up, getting my DraftKings set up, and just kind of talking to you guys. We'll bounce some ideas around and see what we come up with. So, like I said, my biggest issue here is Keenan Allen and the Chargers, including Justin Herbert. Not really sure what's going on there. Let me see if I can pull up the news feed on Underdog and see if we have anything. Josh Jacobs looks like he will play. There was I think it was a illness. Yeah, deal with an illness. Listed as questionable. However, the fact he traveled at all was a positive sign. So if you picked up Zamir White or Brandon Bolden in the anticipation that Josh Jacobs might not play, you can go ahead and drop them. Hayden Hurst is healthy. Dak Prescott could return for week 6 at the earliest. J.K. Dobbins will play, may not even be limited. The J.K. Dobbins thing, you definitely can't start him this week. If you have him, we're excited about seeing him finally, or at least him telling us that we're going to see him. But you can't start him this week. I will say, as a Ravens fan, that Kenyon Drake and Mike Davis look awful. So even though you can't start J.K. Dobbins this week, definitely hang on to him, and we're definitely getting excited about that. See what he does this week. If he does really well, then he could be a potential smash play for an RB2 for the rest of the season. So maybe if you can get a quick trade in before this week starts or even after this week, J.K. Dobbins might be a pretty good trade target. So just keep an eye out for him. See if you can get him for like a Rashad Penny and Elijah Moore. I know I got to stop using Elijah Moore as an example. It's just because I have him in everything. But yeah, if you could pair like a Rashad Penny with a fringe wide receiver to get J.K. Dobbins now while his stock is still pretty cheap, then that's a really good idea. What else we got? Jacoby Myers is not expected to play, so you can bump up Nelson Aguilar, or is it Nelson Aguilar? You can bump up Nelson Aguilar. Let me just verify. Yeah, you can boost up Nelson Aguilar in your rankings with Jacoby Myers sitting. Last week he had a 6 target, 6 reception, 110 yard and 1 touchdown game, 23 fantasy points in a full PPR. So you can play Nelson Aguilar. Push comes to shove based off of the Jacoby Myers news. The Zach Wilson thing is a little bit interesting to me. I don't know if they're going to go ahead and just give Zach Wilson his. I mean, I'm sure they are going to give him his start right away, but with the performance that Joe Flacco's been putting up and him being able to support his young talent in the wide receiving and running back rooms, he's looking pretty good. I think he actually has. I think he's a leader in. I think he's a leader in passing yards right now. Fantasy football stats 2022. Fantasy Pros, of course. We always use Fantasy Pros around here. Statistics, 20. Do they have this season up? Yeah. So here's Joe Flacco. 103 attempts. He is the most passing attempts in the entire league right here. 103 attempts for Joe Flacco. 616 yards. So if we sort by most yards, he is the third quarterback in our rankings by yardage. So that's kind of funny. Obviously, that's not season long, but I'm just curious if that's gonna if that will take into account Zach Wilson, or if that affects Zach Wilson coming back. I doubt it, just because of the draft capital, and obviously this is where the franchise is going. But it is a little bit interesting. Deandre Swift's going to play, so obviously we're playing him. TJ Hawkinson will play. What was he dealing with? Doesn't say, but obviously we're playing TJ Hawkinson. We're still looking for that breakout week from him. So maybe Amon-Ra regresses a little bit this week and gives TJ Hawkinson a little bit of room to produce. That's what you're hoping for if you're a TJ Hawkinson owner. What are we getting? Okay, Christian Watson not expected to play. This might affect your decision on Allen Lazard. I mean, Christian Watson wasn't getting a whole lot of action anyways, but if you're on the fence about Allen Lazard, you can go ahead and play him, even though we haven't seen a wide receiver 1 production out of him yet this year. But last week was his first game. I've never been an Allen Lazard truther. I think Christian Watson is the guy that's going to come in late season and be the number 1 alpha receiver. But if you are a Lazard guy and you have him on your team, there's a good week to play him. They are going up against a tough Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense, that's kind of where I'm in between of who I want to play here. I don't know if I want to play A.J. Dillon or James Robinson. I'm really on the fence because if Justin Herbert does not play, then it might be a lot closer of a game than we think, and that might help James Robinson's fantasy value a little bit, being that he is that running workhorse running back. If the game is getting away from the Jaguars, they're going to pass a bunch, and that could favor a Travis Etienne game, which I'm not starting him this week. But James Robinson is a little bit interesting with the whole situation going on with Justin Herbert and the Chargers. But the problem is that they don't play till 4:05, so we're going to need to make a decision now, pretty much, because even though James Robinson also is not playing till 4:05, the player that I'm potentially going to bench him for is either A.J. Dillon or Rashad Bateman, and they're both playing at 1 o'clock. So I have to make that decision now. And being that I have to make the decision now, and it looks like Justin Herbert might be gearing up to play, we're going to have to start A.J. Dillon. I think they're very close in rankings, and I don't like... If A.J. Dillon wasn't going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, this wouldn't even be a question. It's just the fact that A.J. Dillon is going up against probably the best defense in the league. Makes us a little bit nervous. It makes us a little bit nervous. I'm also curious to see what Rashad Bateman does this week, because he has put up 2 solid fantasy games throughout his first 2 weeks, but they were on a lower amount of targets. I don't want to botch this, so I'll go ahead and confirm it. Mike Williams, Gabe Davis, Rashad Bateman right here. No, this is not the tab I'm supposed to be on. Right here. Amon-Ra, Jalen Waddle, Christian Kirk, Curtis Samuel. Here's Rashad Bateman. So he's 16th overall because he's had 2 solid games, but it's only off of 12 targets and 6 receptions. He had 2 massive plays that ended up as touchdowns. And the concerning thing with Rashad Bateman is just not on the field in all the packages. I think he was only on the field about 71% of the snaps last week. And I don't know if J.K. Dobbins coming in is going to help or hurt that, or if it's just him kind of getting worked up to a full workload. They don't have a whole lot of other receivers that they can play in this matchup, or on this offense. So you've got to imagine that Rashad Bateman is going to get a lot more snaps as the seasons or week progresses. So I'm really hoping that this week we see him on the field for 80, 90% of snaps. So that's what we're looking for with him. If he can get on the field for that much, he has been very efficient in the touches that he has had. So if we can get him from like a 6 target per game average to a 9 or 10, Rashad Bateman is going to be looking very good season long. So it's just something to to watch out for. I just traded for Rashad Bateman. I gave up. Who did I give up? I gave up CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper for Bateman, Dillon, and Melvin Gordon for some running back depth and handcuffs. A.J. Dillon is going to be my running back 2 on my team going from James Robinson. Like I said, this week there's a toss-up between James Robinson and A.J. Dillon. But moving forward throughout the season, A.J. Dillon is looking very good, which is why I traded for him. Gives me a lot more comfort sitting at that running back 2 position on that team. But the trade is really banking on Bateman producing at a level of CeeDee Lamb. That's the part I'm nervous about. If we can get Bateman to produce like an Alpha X wide receiver, that's what we're looking for here. But let's go ahead and get right into. We'll do DraftKings first. Let's get into DraftKings and see what teams we can put together here. We haven't won. Let me see if I can go back to last week and see. No, I have to pull it up on my phone. I don't know why, but on the desktop browser for DraftKings, you can't pull up previous contests. It's a little bit weird. You should be able to. Like, you can see that there's a tab for it, but history? No, see, this is Rainmakers. Anyways, we got 808 Dole coming in here. Who do I start, Stafford or Murray? Stafford has the weapons, but risk interceptions. Murray can run, but the Modern Warfare beta just came out. That's a valid question. That's a very valid question. You're going to have to start Kyler Murray here. Like you said, based off of the Russian upside. I'm going to go ahead and check the matchup one more time. I don't remember who the Cardinals are going up against. Oh, okay. They're going to play the Rams. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and play Kyler Murray here every time. Definitely playing Kyler Murray. Let me see something real quick. My bad. Okay. So, yeah, we're going to be playing Kyler Murray in that situation. Oh, let me pull up DraftKings from last week and see how we did. I didn't even look at it. I don't know why I can't view it on here, though. Thank you. I'm like to sub. I appreciate it, brother. I really do appreciate the support. While you're in here, I need your assistance. A.J. Dillon or James Robinson? The problem is that they're ranked back-to-back. They're in very different situations. I think that A.J. Dillon has a lot more red zone opportunities. So if we're looking at just falling into the end zone, which is really what both these running backs are good for, is falling in the end zone. I feel like I have to go with A.J. Dillon. My contest, DraftKings lineup. Oh, no, recent. Here we go. 9/18. Was this last week? $9.18. Yeah, this was last week. Oh, that's right. So I actually had a really decent setup going for me if Trey Lance didn't get injured, because my team was Trey Lance, which obviously got injured in the beginning of the game, got me 2.5 points, kind of ruined the entire team for me. Joe Mixon was cold, but he got me 11.3 points. Antonio Gibson came through with 12. Devonte Adams was cold with 9.2 points, but I had Christian Kirk hot at 25.8 fantasy points. Ashton Doolin at a value at 13.2. Logan Thomas bailed us out with a late touchdown in that game versus the Detroit Lions with 12.7 fantasy points. Deebo Samuel with 14.7 and the Bengals with 4 at a grand total of 105.5 fantasy points. So let's go ahead and switch over here and get a DraftKings going. See if we can't get a better lineup this week. So one day I'm going to get good at finding a actual, PPR, 808, PPR. Robinson is consistent. Dillon was a third the points from first games. Wait. Dillon was a third the points from first games. Am I reading that wrong? I'm confused. Standard, PPR, latest ECR, A.J. Dillon. So here's A.J. Dillon. This is why we traded for A.J. Dillon in that league, because James Robinson was a running back 1. We also have ETN, so we're gonna try to trade away James Robinson and Bateman for T. Higgins or something like that. But in the meantime, we have Dillon up here, James Robinson at 26. Dillon. Oh, this is rankings, but we can go through a game log on this tab. The reason I like Dillon is because even though Aaron Jones had a really big game last week, Dillon is still out touching Aaron Jones. He had 18 rushing attempts week 2, 10 week 1. He had a touchdown week 1 with 6 targets and 5 receptions. And then last week he had 3 targets to accompany his 18 attempts and 61 yards. So even though he didn't have a big game at 7.7 fantasy points, the attempts are there. 21 touches in what we presume to be a really good offense is very valuable. Even though Aaron Jones was more efficient with them last week. Dillon's PPR was a third what he put up in game 1. Oh, are you talking about his receptions? Or just his score in general? Because, yeah, his score in general was a third. But again, like I just said, his attempts actually went up. He just didn't fall in the end zone. And he didn't have as many targets. And I think that was because of the role that Aaron Jones was playing last week. He was just on fire, so they were feeding the hot hand. So even though James Robinson has been more consistent, I think I have to go A.J. Dillon here. We'll look at the game logs for James Robinson as well. So you can see the attempts are similar. 10 versus James Robinson's 11, and then A.J. Dillon's 18 versus James Robinson's 23. But last week, James Robinson got bailed out by one play. He had like a 20-yard touchdown, which if you think about that, that's 9 points of your 16. So if he doesn't have that one run, we're looking at a very different scenario. So it's a probability game that we're playing here. It's they're very comparable backs. They are pretty much touchdown dependent. They're almost 50-50 backfields, especially if it's going to be a passing script for the Jacksonville Jaguars against the Chargers. So even though the scores have been more consistent for James Robinson in the past 2 games, 2 games is a very small sample size, and we got to look at the opportunities versus the offense. Dillon is at Tampa Bay and Robinson's against the Chargers, right? And they're both good offenses. That's why if I had the luxury of waiting to hear if Justin Herbert's going to play, if Justin Herbert was out, I would play James Robinson. But I don't have the opportunity to wait that long. We have James Robinson playing at 4 o'clock, and then A.J. Dillon starts at 1. So we're going to have to make the decision before 1. What up, Chris? All over Cordero Patterson and David Montgomery this week. I love David Montgomery this week. Cordero Patterson is going to be a hard sell for me, but let's get over here into it. Like I said, one of these days, I'm going to be able to get into some of these games seamlessly, but this week is not going to be the week. We're going to get into one. It's just going to take us a minute, as it usually does. It's taking my computer a minute as well, apparently. Don't know. Get out of here. Okay. Get out of here. Okay. All right. So, I don't remember what we did last week, but we're going to find another one here. All right. Single entry. This is the struggle of the channel. We do this every single week. This one. Early only, single entry. What is this? 3,000 people. 1,500 a first. Let's try this. Wait. Here we go. Single entry. 3,000. $5 entry. We'll go with this. Is it PPR? Interception, receiving, touchdown, reception. Yep. All right. We're going to go with this. NFL 15K, huddle, single entry, 1,500 to first. 3,500 contestants. Let's go ahead and draft the team. Wait. Okay, we're good. All right. So, let's just go and do a scan of what we're looking at here. If you guys are, well, you guys would not be aware, but, Oh, wait. Why didn't we get a notification for 808 Dole subscribing? We usually have a alert box. Maybe it was because I was on. I think it's because I was on this. But I appreciate you for subscribing anyway, Dole. Yeah, so let's just go through and look at what we're looking at. Look at the matchups. See if we can find some values. I think that Dalvin Cook is really enticing this week. He hasn't had a high game this year. I think that Detroit is a really good defense to go up against. It should put the Minnesota Vikings in a game script that allows Dalvin Cook to just run the ball into the ground. And I think everyone's really looking for a breakout game here for Dalvin Cook on the year with this new offense that's put into place. If Dalvin Cook doesn't produce this week, he goes from a buy low to a panic button player. So if you're a Dalvin Cook owner, you're really hoping for a big week this week. I'm a believer that he does produce this week. But if you don't have Dalvin Cook, I would try to trade for him in the next hour and a half. Because after this week, Dalvin Cook you won't be able to get him. Let's see. James Robinson, AJ Dillon, back-to-back in the rankings as well. I do like Cordero. I do like David Montgomery against Houston Texans here. We'll put him as a soft add. Miles Sanders is actually really low. He's really cheap as well. J.K. Dobbins is very cheap. ETN is cheap. Chase Edmonds. Chuba Hubbard, Damian Pierce is very cheap. Let's see. Antonio Gibson, Leonard Fournette. I like Leonard Fournette this week a lot as well. There's no pass catchers in Tampa Bay. So Leonard Fournette might get a lot of volume out of the backfield in the passing game as well as the running. I think he had over 20 attempts both weeks. So I do like Leonard Fournette here. I'm just thinking between Leonard Fournette. We do have Deandre Swift very cheap, actually. DeAndre Swift, the 7,200 is very cheap. He's going to play this week. We do know that. Swift ankle-less is questionable, but he's expected to play. And it looked like he was at an increased role from last week. So I do like DeAndre Swift. Fournette will be too popular. The thing is to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if we do 9 factorial, evaluated. So if we do 9 factorial, which is all of the possible opportunities, there are, I don't think that's it, actually. I think it's n to the 9th. I think it should be n to the 9th, actually. There's way more. Why can I figure this out? Anyways, there's a lot of fucking combinations. I'm not worried about there being a too popular player here. I think David Montgomery's going to be very popular. I think Leonard Fournette's going to be very popular by themselves. But based off of all the other picks that we're about to make, I'm not worried about that. I'm just trying to pick the best team I can pick. So I do like Leonard Fournette a lot. I like DeAndre Swift here a lot. I like Joe Mixon a lot. And I like Dalvin Cook. Chris says he prefers Aaron Jones or Sanders or Swift over Fournette. I do like Swift over Fournette. That's what I'm looking at now. I do like Sanders as well. I do not like Aaron Jones. I do not like Aaron Jones this week at all. But that being said, I do like DeAndre Swift over Leonard Fournette. I was actually thinking about doing both. But we'll keep David Montgomery for now. And we're going to move the wide receiver because I do want to pay up for a wide receiver this week. I think Cooper Kupp is a good pay up. I think Devonte Adams is a great pay up. because there's going to be no Hunter Renfrow this week. Keenan Allen. Do we have any news on him? I think he's still game time. Questionable for Sunday's game. I'm playing Davis Mills mostly this week. What are you talking? Wait, you're going to start Davis Mills in your Draftkings lineup? Christian Kirk at the Chargers. T. Higgins at the Jets. Lazard, Marquise Brown, Michael Thomas, Adam Thielen, Drake London, Bateman. I actually do like Juju this week since they're going up against a zone coverage defense. Juju historically does very well in zone coverage defenses, so I do like Juju this week, surprisingly enough. I've been screwed by Juju so much, so to go back to him is going to be very difficult. I probably can't pick him here, but I think there's some real potential there. Nelson Aguilar is very interesting because no Jacoby Myers. You can get Nelson Aguilar for very cheap. We'll add him as a soft ad right now. All right, this is getting into a range I don't even want to look at. So, I think the receiver that I'm going to pay up for here is going to be Devonte Adams. If I can afford him. I'm going to have to work out the rest of the lineup first. Drake London I like a lot as well. I think that the targets he's been seeing is undeniable. I do think that Kyle Pitts gets more involved in the upcoming weeks. So look out for that. If you're a Kyle Pitts owner like myself, don't worry. Just hang in there. Don't sell him. If you're selling him now, you're selling him super cheap, and you're selling him at the ultimate low. So, I mean, it can't get worse than 3 points a week. So don't sell him. There's really no point for you to sell him just yet. If anything, go out there and buy him. We were talking about that in our Week 3 start-sit video. Is Kyle Pitts as a trade target. So if you haven't seen the Week 3 start-sit video quite yet, you can go check that out. And speed through to the matchup that you're curious about. That's up on the channel now, and we do that we're going to do that every Tuesday or Wednesday. We did it Wednesday this week. Yeah, I did see Higgins at 6,100. I'm thinking about him for my flex here. The only thing is, I think that the Bengals go up on the Jets really fast. Although I will say the Jets do have a capable offense, so they might at least be able to keep them within 14 points and keep Joe Mixon off the field. Right now, I want to see what our tight ends are looking like. I don't know if I want to go ahead and grab Kyle Pitts here. I do think he has a breakout game on the horizon with Marcus Mariota. I just don't know if I want to bet on it being this week, especially if we're going with Drake London. If we did go with Kyle Pitts, we would have to take Drake London off. I still like Zach Ertz a lot here. I don't like Gerald Everett this week. Keenan Allen coming back. Justin Herbert potentially not starting. I'm going to be looking to... I was looking to potentially bench Gerald Everett for Evan Ingram this week in my redraft league. I just don't think that there's enough volume to go around for Gerald Everett, but at the same time, he's on a good offense, and for tight ends, especially once you get past Tyler Higbee in rankings, you're really just looking for that volume and the opportunities in the red zone, which the Chargers are going to have red zone trips and give Gerald Everett an opportunity to fall into the end zone. It just gets very thin. It gets very thin when you have Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and Austin Eckler in the passing game as options before your tight end. But at the same time, it's kind of like Evan Ingram gets a little bit more opportunities and volume on a worse offense, and then Gerald Everett's the opposite. So I've been really torn about that as well this week. The other factor there is that I also have Mike Williams on that team. But Zach Ertz is who I'm looking at right this second. I like Zach Ertz. I like Irv Smith, honestly. I like Irv Smith down here at 3,100. Actually, I'm going to add that as a soft ad. Irv Smith had a really good week last week. We can go and check him out. Let's see. Go to tight ends. Go to Irv Smith. If we check out his week last week, he had 14.6 fantasy points on 8 targets, and he actually had a long touchdown drop. So he almost had like a 25-point game from the tight end position. And we're going up against the Detroit Lions, who have a bad offense. And in every game that the Lions have been in this year, in the past 2 weeks, it's been barn burners. It's been both. There's been plenty of points to go around. So I do think that this score gets run up between the Lions and the Minnesota Vikings. I think the Lions have they're kind of like the Jets. They have a pretty decent offense and a good enough offense to keep up with the team they're playing against, but their defense is trash. So it ends up being like a 30-30 game and they end up losing. So as a Lions fan, that's probably super frustrating, but as a fantasy football manager, I'm going to go through and play anyone against the Detroit Lions. So I do like Irv Smith for this cheap, and if you look at the range that we're getting Irv Smith in at 3,100, there's really nothing around him that's comparable. Maybe Juwan Johnson are likely if you're feeling crazy, but no, we got to go Irv Smith here. Going back to OJ Howard on half of my lineup was Raven Jordan out. I don't hate it. Let's see. Let's see where. Oh, man. OJ Howard for 2,700. Sheesh. One target last. Oh, my God. That's ballsy. I don't hate it, though. Why is Braven Jordan out? I wonder why Braven Jordan's out. We have about $5,000 per player. Oh, I hate when people don't respond to trade offers. Drives me crazy. Okay, so let's see if we can go in the flex and do what we were talking about. Throw T. Higgins in there. Go to our quarterback. We have 4,700. I do want to potentially spend up here. Tua, not chasing that. Like Jared Goff isn't a bad play here. Jared Goff isn't a bad play. He's not going to win you the tournament, which we got to shoot for the upside. And I feel like if we have to shoot for the upside, we have to go with a quarterback that can use his legs. Jalen Hurts is going to be the number one quarterback on the week, and we can get him at 7,600. So we might just do that, honestly. He's been undeniable. There's no defenses that we can buy for this cheap, so we're going to have to reevaluate a little bit. But that's okay. I want to get the players that I want. That means more to me. Texans defense could be a cheap option. Raiders versus Tennessee could be a cheaper option. Jags versus Chargers could be really interesting if we have no Justin Herbert. But I'm not willing to bet on that here at 11:30 a.m. when the game doesn't start till 4. It looks like Justin Herbert's gearing up to take the shot and play the game. So I can't take that shot, but it's potential. Jacksonville is a decent option if Herbert is out. We think very similar here, Chris. Buy a defense first. I admit Irv is a better pick. Okay. All right. What's the cheap? Usually for the defenses, I start from the bottom and I go up and find the cheapest defense that I can see working out. So it's not going to be the Lions. It's not going to be the Dolphins. It's not going to be the Colts. I'm not betting on the Jags. This could be a decent home run pick if you think Herbert's going to... Let me check Twitter real quick to see if we have any news. I doubt it, though. I mean, you got to think. It's 11:30 here. It's only, like 8:30 in California or something like that. So I'm sure we're not getting reports just yet. Bleacher Report, Justin Herbert is pushing to play today. So, like I said, I don't think I can bet that the Jaguars are going to be against a Justin Herbert-less offense. Let's see. Latest. Yeah, looks like nobody knows. Nobody knows if he's playing, so I'm not gonna go ahead and do that now. Eagles, Green Bay, Ravens are mostly what I bought. Eagles. Who are the Eagles playing? Eagles are playing Commanders. I can't do it. Eagles let up a ton of points against the Lions. What we got? Gabe Davis will play. Breaking news: Gabe Davis will play this week. So if you have him, you can go ahead and throw him back in your lineups. Don't worry about him. I think we want all the pieces of the Dolphins and Bills game that we can get. I'm talking Dawson Knox. I'm talking Gesicki. I'm talking Waddle, Edmonds. I think it's going to be a very high scoring game. And I'm really excited to watch this game. Is this a 1:00 game? I'm really excited to watch this game because we're either going to find out how good the Dolphins are or how good the Bills are. Because if the Dolphins keep it close the entire time after the Bills just dominated two decent teams in the weeks 1 and 2, we'll know that Dolphins are legit even if they lose. But if the Bills just roll over the Dolphins also, the Bills might be one of the best teams of all time. I know it's really early to say that, but I've heard comparisons of them to the Randy Moss New England Patriots. And from the start that they've had this year, the Bills could be on track to be one of the best teams of all time. So I'm really excited to see what this game holds for us. It's a 1:00 game, so looks like a red zone day for your boy. 4 key Bills defense backs are out. Waddle and Hill are a full go. 4 key Bills defense backs are out. 4? Oh, shit. I'm starting. Yeah, I knew Micah Hyde is out for season. I have the Bills defense in my redraft league that I'm trying in, and it's kind of one of those situations where I have so many bench spots that I can't pick up 2 defenses. I'd have to drop the Bills to pick up a new defense, and even though I don't like the Bills this week, I like them season long. Like, I think that they're one of the few defenses that has positional dominance, so I might just stick it out. 33% of the Bills' captains are missing today's game with an injury. Miami Dolphins line went from plus 5.5 last night to plus 4.5. Mike Gesicki anytime touchdown odds. Inactives. Blah, 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 blah. That is not relevant to this game. Wait, is Jordan Poyer injured as well? Oh, yikes. Out for the Bills as well. Okay, so there's no both the all-pro safeties are gone. That's interesting. I just don't know if I want to make a play in my redraft league. Okay, so if Miami keeps it close, I'm not. Damn, that kind of sucks because I'm not. Even if the Dolphins keep it close, then I'm just gonna say it was just because their all-pro safeties were out. So I don't think this game is as telling as I originally thought. But I mean, the flip side is if they steamroll the Dolphins, if the Bills steamroll the Dolphins without their secondary, that's even more of a case for the Bills. But I don't see that happening. Jets and Cincy, Raiders and Tennessee. I do like Raiders and Tennessee, to be honest. Seahawks, Titans, Packers is not the worst idea here because there's no receivers for the Bucs. I don't hate this. Ravens versus New England. Bucks versus Green Bay. No, thank you. Man, there's not a whole lot of super enticing defensive options here. New Orleans against Carolina is the best one yet. I mean, that's for sure. Carolina looks so bad. Carolina looks so bad. The only one I would consider is Green Bay. So if we need $700, we'll switch to the Packers. I think I already know where I want to get some of that money back is Drake London. I don't love that pick. So let's see if we can grab someone that we do like in the wide receiver position for 4,100. Marvin Jones, AJ Green, Devin Duvernay. Scotty Miller's an interesting pick here just because of how decimated the wide receivers are in Tampa Bay. Scotty Miller is a little bit interesting. Although I will say, I don't know if we're going to find a wide receiver in the range that we can afford with the current setup. I think we might have to switch it up a little bit. I like Chris Olave. Bucks are missing everyone. Green Bay seems safe as hell. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, I think we'll just do it just because we're already struggling for money here. So I think we're going to go, where is it? We're going to go with the Packers and see what that frees up for us in the wide receiver room. Actually, we can do this. Let's do this. Let's go to wide receiver. Throw Higgins in here. We'll throw Higgins in at wide receiver. That'll leave the flex open for us to spend $4,800. That's still not that much, so we might have to make some adjustments. Ramondre Stevenson comes into play. Kyle Pitts comes into play. Kind of interesting. Dallas Goedert, Eno Benjamin. Chris Olave. I mean, Chris Olave is probably my pick here, but I don't like either, so we're going to go back and reevaluate a little bit. Let's see. I don't hate Dameon Pierce either. Jacoby Myers. Devonte Smith, Tyler Boyd. I really like Cam Akers. I mean, Garrett Wilson. Like I said, I do kind of like Juju as well. What do they say about Julio? Julio listed as questionable for Sunday's game against Green Bay. All right. Not going to play him. Bateman. Do we want Bateman? Do we want Bateman or do we want Juju? Or DJ Moore? I feel like Bateman has a higher ceiling. Juju might have the higher ceiling. Garrett Wilson isn't a bad pick. Hicks out for Bucks. Why I like Aaron Jones. That's why I like AJ Dillon, actually. So that's good to know. Bucks are missing everyone. Hicks out for Bucks. So Chris, we were between Dillon and James Robinson as my running back too earlier. Let's get your take on that. I never can get behind Tyler Lockett. What's this news? Deandre Swift is officially active. Okay. I don't want to take out Devonte Adams. I could take out Nelson Aguilar, but there's not going to be another receiver in that range that I like. So, Gesicki's 4,300. We got to think here. We got to think. Nah, I like my running backs too much. I like my quarterback too much. I like Nelson Aguilar as my sleeper. I like T. Higgins. I like Devonte Adams. Oh, man. We might just have to go for a sleeper, to be honest, because I really do like this team. What about T. Higgins? I kind of flew with T. Higgins blindly after your suggestion. He's 6,100. T. Higgins might be the one. T. Higgins is 6,100. He's going up against the Jets. I do like him here. I just want to see like Marquise Brown, Michael Thomas, Drake London, Brandon Cooks. Tyler Lockett at 58. Yeah, I don't want that. Higgins. See, the issue is who do I take in the flex? There's nobody that I want at 4,800. Kenyon Drake, no. Ramondre Stevenson is possible. Like, I could see a game from him. But the Ravens have a really good running defense. The only reason Ramondre could get some work is out of the backfield. Josh Palmer is too messy to guess. Kyle Pitts is the only one that's like a little interesting because he can put up wide receiver numbers and you're getting him for tight end prices. That would kind of be like the ultimate send here to go with Kyle Pitts at flex, especially with the 2 weeks that we've seen from him. Isaiah McKenzie is like you could make the stretch on him. Jahan Dotson, like you can make the stretch on Jahan. The problem with Jahan Dotson is he's so touchdown dependent. What about this? I actually like this. What about this? Chris Olave. Chris Olave at the flex. And if we go back to Nelson Aguilar for 4,100, we can look in the 4,400 range. I don't think we're going to find anybody that we like more. 4,400 puts us in this. Sammy Watkins is in the injured reserve. Josh Reynolds, Greg Dortch. Yeah, we still like. DeAndre, David. All right. Jalen Hurts, David Montgomery. How do we feel about Pitts or Chris Olave? I don't hate the Pitts pick either, obviously. But Olave had 13 targets last week. See if we can find him. Olave had 13 targets last week. The issue is that Jameis Winston is definitely not in the best shape. Alvin Kamara is coming back. Michael Thomas is looking good. I have one lineup with Dubs. Yeah, I can't go with Dubs. Can't do it. I think right now we need to make the decision between Pitts or Chris Olave. I think Chris Olave is probably the safer floor. I think Chris Olave is probably the safer floor. He had 6 and 6, and then PPR he had 9 and 11. Yeah, I think we got to go with Chris Olave here. And that was both with no touchdowns. If he falls in the end zone, we could be looking at 15 points from our flex. You want Pitts over Olave. I don't know if I can get there. I don't think I can get there. Pitts and Olave. What else we got? J.K. Dobbins is officially active. Pitts is supposed to have a big one. Oh. Corey Davis. So you want Pitts over Olave. No. I'm overriding. Gotta go Olave. Gotta go Olave, and the reason is because Pitts has one touchdown ever. I think it's a higher probability that Olave gets a touchdown than Kyle Pitts. So even though I like Kyle Pitts more as a player, I think I gotta go with Chris Olave. Gotta go with the floor here because we're chasing the ceiling on a couple other picks. So we're gonna go with the floor. We do have $300 to spend, so If we wanted to go up from the Packers, would we be able to get to our... What was the other team we were looking at? The other team we were looking at was the Saints, which we don't have enough to go up there. We would need an extra 400. We could go with the Ravens now. We could go with Tampa Bay, but I do like sticking with the Packers. Let's see if we can upgrade David Montgomery to a clear... Like, do we want to go 6,200? We could go to James Conner from David Montgomery. We could go to James Robinson. We could go to A.J. Dillon. This is questionable for Sunday's game against the Rams with an ankle injury. Yeah, I don't love betting on James Conner being questionable. Even if he does play, I think he could be limited. James Robinson and A.J. Dillon, I'm already torn on. I don't know how to feel about them. And I think that David Montgomery has a better opportunity to put up a lot of fantasy points based off of the team they're playing. Based off the matchup, Deandre Swift, I don't feel like touching. T. Higgins, is there someone we could upgrade T. Higgins to? That puts us in the $6,400 range. We could go with a Terry McLaurin over T. Higgins. I don't think that's worth it. The only one that I think could be worth it is Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk over T. Higgins. But we're going to stick with T. Higgins here. Irv Smith at 3,100. See if there's an upgrade for us there. 31 to 35. Or no, 34. That puts us in the Cole Kmet range. No, thank you. All right, so we like our flex. We like our tight end. We like our wide receivers. I could upgrade Devonte Adams from 8,400. No, I couldn't even upgrade him. And I really do like Devonte Adams this week a lot. So this is our team. I think this is our team. Quarterback, we'll check that if there's an upgrade available for us to go to 7,900. We could go with the Patrick Mahomes. But I think I'm going to leave it. So this is going to be our lineup right here. Jalen Hurts, David Montgomery, DeAndre Swift, Nelson Aguilar, Devonte Adams, T. Higgins, Irv Smith, Chris Olave, and the Packers defense. We'll go ahead and submit that now. Boom. We're in. Okay. Enter. Congratulations, you're in. Your lineup has been entered. Oh, wait. I think I just entered a different contest. Wait, what did I just do? What is this? 10,000 to first. 2,300 entrants. Features 100,000. Pays out the top 4,700. First place wins 10 grand. All right, whatever. We'll use this one. In salary cap contests, all right, that's normal. Receptions are +1. All right, I don't know what I just did, but I entered something. So that's going to be our lineup that we're going to enter there. So that'll be our DraftKings lineup for week 3 going into the week. And then let's look at our pick'em bets here. We'll check the news feed one time before we get into it. Nothing has changed, so we'll go ahead and dive into the pick'ems. Okay, so do we want to go with a safe pick'em here, or do we want to go with a 20 times our money pick'em? I think I know the answer. CEH. All right, let's see. Patrick Mahomes over 290 passing yards. Fantasy points, rushing yards. You got to remember when you're picking these underdog fantasy drafts or pick'ems that this is a half PPR when you're looking at these fantasy point payouts. So if you're playing in a full PPR league, make sure you adjust for the half PPR format. If you haven't signed up for Underdog Fantasy yet, go to underdogfantasy.com. Use code FFX54, stands for Fantasy Files 1054. It's going to be right below my head in the webcam, FFX54. That'll give you a 100% match on your first deposit from $10 to $100. and then you can get involved with some of these pick'ems, or they have some draft style games you can get into as well. So go ahead and sign up for that if you haven't already. Let's get back into this. 3 passing touchdowns for Patrick Mahomes, 10 rushing yards. I don't like the Patrick Mahomes lines just because they're always so high that I don't ever feel comfortable going into them. So I never really pick up any overs or unders for Patrick Mahomes, so I'll pass on that. CEH, 2.5 receptions. That seems really good. We'll go ahead and put that in for now. Juju at 51 yards. I don't hate it. I'm adding these, but these are just soft ads. We'll take them out as we find people that we like more. Matt Ryan, interception, 2.5 rushing yards, 35 passing attempts, 2 passing touchdowns. I like this. All right, Josh Allen, 323 passing yards. Holy shit. That's a line. I'm good on that. Diggs, receiving yards, receptions. Gabe Davis, no thanks. Tua at 2 passing touchdowns with no secondary in the Bills game. Kind of like that. I am not touching Chase Edmonds. I'm done touching Chase Edmonds. 6 receptions, 100 yards. This is a little bit interesting. Jalen Waddle over 67 yards. Two passing touchdowns for Derek Carr. I think I'm going to take this out. I don't love this. And I don't love Juju either. What has our situation been looking like with CEH in the reception category? Yo, pick 2. DJ Moore, Tyler Lockett, or Adam Thielen. Oh, God. Okay. I like DJ Moore and Adam Thielen. Yeah, I like DJ Moore and Adam Thielen. I think they're all very similar. I think DJ Moore is obviously your highest draft capital, so I think just being that we're in week 3 and DJ Moore has had 2 mediocre weeks and the draft position you took him in, I think we got to ride it out with DJ Moore for one more week. They are going up against a really difficult Saints defense, and Marshawn Lattimore will probably be against DJ Moore for the entirety of the game. But I think the talent alone we have to go with there. The issue is, for me, is between Tyler Lockett and Adam Thielen. I think that Adam Thielen is just touchdown dependent. Tyler Lockett probably gets a little bit more volume, but I do think that Adam Thielen's been pretty quiet, so I think they get him involved today. So I would probably go with Adam Thielen and DJ Moore, and then between Pitts and Higbee, I'm going to go Pitts just because I am a big Pitts truther. That being said, Tyler Higbee's volume is undeniable. I love the volume we're seeing out of him. In 2 games, we've seen 20 targets, 11 in one and 9 in another. So for a tight end, that's as good as it gets. And in a full PPR league, we're looking at 9 and 14 points. So I think if you're in a full PPR league, this is a little bit more of a question than if you're in standard. If you're in standard, it's Kyle Pitts for sure. If you're in a full PPR league, then Tyler Higbee and Kyle Pitts is a little bit more of a question just because of the targets that Tyler Higbee is getting. But I just am a believer that Kyle Pitts has that big play capability. He is the best tight end prospect that we've ever seen. So just off of talent, I think I have to go Pitts here. But if you need a safer, I will say this: if you need a safer play, Higbee is going to be that safer play. I just want to shoot for the ceiling. So if we're shooting for ceiling, Kyle Pitts is the higher ceiling. DJ Moore and Adam Thielen. That's my picks. All right, 2 passing touchdowns from Derek Carr, 2 from Tua, 2.5 receptions from Clyde. That's what I was doing. I was looking at Clyde Edwards-Helaire's reception history. He's had 3 and 4. Okay, so not nearly as high as I thought. Not nearly as high as I thought, but I'm still okay with 3. But if we have to replace, like if there's a line that we like a little bit more, then we'll switch out this one. 7 receptions, 87 yards. It's a really tough line. 7 receptions and 87 yards. Like, I do want to go with that with the Devonte Adams pick, but that line is really high. I don't know what's going on with this. I like this right here. Do I want receptions or do I want receiving yards? I might want receiving yards. I'm really liking Treylon Burks. I think Treylon Burks is a really good trade target for us. I think you can buy him pretty low. And I think he's going to continue to ascend. I think Robert Woods looks a lot weaker than we anticipated coming into the season, which raises the value of Treylon Burks quite a bit. Let me go. Yeah, here he is. Treylon Burks, game log, 55 yards and 3 and 4 receptions. Like I said, I think this continues to go up. So, what are we sitting at? 3.5 receptions. So 4 receptions or 45 yards. Then we'll go with the yards here. Jared Goff, 2 passing touchdowns. It's interesting. 23 receiving yards from Deandre Swift. Oh, I got to take that. He can get 23 yards in one play. Receiving yards, 31-31. Like, you look at these lines, but if you go back and look at the previous game, it's not nearly as much as you would think. Not nearly as many as you would think. 3 receptions, 2 receptions. I do like this, though. 10 rushing attempts. What the hell? 10? I actually might take that. I think I want this. 10.5 rushing attempts. Yeah, I want that. Amon-Ra, 77 yards and 7 receptions. That's crazy. Pick Josh Jacobs or Cordero Patterson, Zeke, and also Zeke. Pick one between those 3. Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs between those 3 for sure. Safer floor, higher ceiling, all of it. Zeke is done. I don't want Zeke at all. And pick one between Bateman and Thielen. Bateman. I want Bateman more than Thielen. I'm starting Bateman in my league as well. So my starting lineup in the redraft that I'm serious about is going to be Jalen Hurts, A.J. Dillon, Joe Mixon, Stephon Diggs, Mike Williams, Gerald Everett, and Rashad Bateman. And I think I have to start the Bills defense. I really don't want to, but I think I have to. God damn! Look at the line for Justin Jefferson. That's crazy. Irv Smith, KJ Osborne, Lamar Jackson. What's Lamar Jackson got? 53 rushing yards. Nah, I'm good on all that. Wait, what is this? Why are some grayed out? Do we know? Drop in the chat why a player will be grayed out. 218 passing yards. Oh, I do like this actually. Bateman, 50 receiving yards, 4 receptions. I don't want any part of this, New England. Davis Mills. What would come out here? Traylon Burks, maybe? David Montgomery, 2.5 receptions. 7 rushing attempts, 89.5 rushing yards. Jalen Hurts, passing touchdowns, interceptions, rushing touchdown. Like, why are these grayed out? I'm confused. Shout out to everyone still chilling with us in the live stream while we're gearing up for week 3 to get underway. I guess it's technically underway from the Thursday game. But getting the week 3 launched here with some pick'ems, with some DraftKings, DFS lineups, and talking start sit. So if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe and like the video for me. It really helps me out, and it'll allow you to follow our channel as the season progresses. We're going to do start sit videos every Tuesday/Wednesday, and then we're going to do these live streams every Sunday leading up to kickoff. So shout out to you guys for being in the chat. Like the video, subscribe, ring the notification bell so you get notified when we do go live. Do I start Tannehill or Goff? I'm leaning Tannehill, really. I would lean Goff hard. I would definitely lean Goff. I got to wrap this up, though, because I got to get some food before the games start. And I got to peep the dogs, the underdogs. Curtis Samuel, 4.5 receptions. Trade question. Oh, I love these. All right, looking to sell high on Garrett Wilson. Really? Okay. Weak at running back, strong at wide receiver. Which running back should I target? I need to know what weak means for you. So tell me what running backs you have, and then tell me what wide receivers you have. Let me know what format your league is. So PPR, half PPR, or standard, because all the players will get evaluated differently. I will say, even though Garrett Wilson had a crazy week last week, I don't know if you'd be selling him high. I mean, you're definitely selling him high in the short term, but I do like Garrett Wilson season long just because he's a top 10 prospect that's already producing. You have Swift and Kareem Hunt, full PPR. Okay, so Kareem Hunt is that definitely could use an upgrade. Yeah, let me know what receivers you have. I'm assuming it's a 1 flex league. But we can look at David Montgomery or Javonte Williams. Javonte. AJ Brown, Jamar Chase. Okay, so you have AJ Brown, Jamar Chase, and London. Okay, so yeah, you can get rid of Garrett Wilson. So I would pair Garrett Wilson and Kareem Hunt. Garrett Wilson and Kareem Hunt. Give me a sec. I want to give you like a legitimate trade you could try to go after. So I would go after an 0-2 team, or at least a 1-1 team. Going after I mean, it kind of depends who's holding who. Because if you're in a 2-0 team, even if you have players that are underproducing, those teams aren't super interested in moving players around because they have been winning. So go and look for your 1-1 and 0-2 teams. And then if you can look for an upgrade from like Garrett Wilson and Kareem Hunt for James Conner, for Alvin Kamara, for A.J. Dillon, I would do any of those. I think you start to get a little bit tricky when you get into like the CEH. Like I think you get too linear if you get below A.J. Dillon. Like I think that's the lowest you'd want to go. But if you can go Garrett Wilson and Kareem Hunt for like an Alvin Kamara or James Conner or A.J. Dillon, I think that's something that I would do every time. The other thing you could do is keep Garrett Wilson, combine Kareem Hunt with... I wouldn't want to move off of A.J. Brown or Jamar Chase. Or London, to be honest. Yeah, I think you really are stuck to going Garrett Wilson and Kareem Hunt for someone in this range. I would prefer James Conner or Alvin Kamara. You might even be able to go, like, especially if you do it in the next 50 minutes before the game start, you could even try to go Garrett Wilson, Kareem Hunt, and another piece. I don't know who's on your bench, but if you have like a Ramondre Stevenson or another piece player on your bench, you could try to do like all three of them for Dalvin Cook. Maybe. It all depends on who owns that player in your league. But yeah, I would go for this range as a realistic possibility. I think Kamara and Dalvin Cook are or even Derrick Henry. Like Derrick Henry has had a really slow start, so like maybe you could get crafty and try to grab a really good running back in Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, or Alvin Kamara. But if you're in a really smart league of experienced players, then you're probably gonna have to go more for this James Conner, A.J. Dillon range. Greg Dortch, Jeff Wilson, Olave, or Ayuk for flex. Jeff Wilson. I think Jeff Wilson is by far the safest floor. If you're chasing ceiling, you could go Olave. But Jeff Wilson is the play I would do there. He's going to get every touch of the backfield. Trey Lance isn't going to vulture any more goal line touches. Trey Sermon. Tyrion Davis-Price is hurt. Elijah Mitchell's hurt. So I like Jeff Wilson there. Just sent a trade offer for Connor. That's what I like to hear. Now, we actually just traded for Connor as well, so I like that. And if you do get James Conner, check if Darrell Williams is on the bench. I think he's a good player to pick up if you're a James Conner owner, just to have in case of this injury sneaking up on us and causing James Conner to miss any time in the future. Then you have Darrell Williams as backup, which is more than capable. So if you do get James Conner, just look for Darrell Williams on your waivers. Yes, sir. I appreciate it, guys. If you're just stopping by and you're a new viewer, go ahead and like the video. If you do like the video, then subscribe so we can get into live chats like this every single Sunday before the kickoff. And then we do our start-sit videos on Tuesday or Wednesday. See what we got. I got all my friends sending their pick'ems. So let's get back to the pick'ems. I totally forgot we were doing that. God, okay. Let's go through and see what I love. I love this Deandre Swift. I love this Derek Carr. I love this Tua. I don't love this. I don't love this either. I like this. $50 yards from Garrett Wilson against Cincy. I like that. The only problem is that I actually like Elijah Moore this week as well. Jameis Winston, touchdown for Alvin Kamara anytime. Rushing yards for Kamara. Interception for Baker Mayfield. against the Saints. I actually love that. Holy shit. See where Baker Mayfield's at. Baker Mayfield. I'm gonna go pick on that. So I think this is what we're gonna do. 100 yards total for Joe Mixon, half a interception for Baker Mayfield, 10.5 rushing attempts for Deandre Swift, and then 2 touchdowns for Tua and Derek Carr. We'll put 5 in. We're gonna get the insurance on this one, and I'm not gonna submit it just because I don't know if I can. I don't know if that is against YouTube guidelines. So this is what we'll submit though. Before or right when we get off of here. Picked up Daryl already. Love it. I love it so much because I just did this exact move in another league. Actually, let me tell you what I just did. It was very similar. I went out and got James Conner for a couple pieces, just like you're trying to do here. Let's see. Recent activity. That was a little different. The trade I did was Allen Robinson, Jalen Waddle, and A.J. Dillon is who I gave up. And I got Devonte Adams and James Conner in return. And then I picked up Darrell Williams from the bench. Or from the waiver. So I gave up A-Rob, Jalen Waddle. Tried to sell Jalen Waddle while it was high. And then gave up A.J. Dillon as a replacement. And then got James Conner and Devonte Adams in return. So not necessarily exactly the same, but it was a little more higher profile than what you're looking for here. But in leagues that you are that are a little bit more timid in the trading category, doing those super high profile trades doesn't always work out. Sometimes you got to go with these lower, less intimidating trades like a Kareem Hunt and Garrett Wilson for James Conner. But that is going to wrap up this video. I'm going to submit this as soon as we get off. Shout out to everyone that came out to support us in the past few months. This is our first year doing this, and we started about a little over 100 videos ago in the offseason doing underdog fantasy drafts, and we've gotten to the point where we're at now where the season has started. We're diversifying our channel a little bit more and kind of pivoting to a mid-season schedule that we have been liking, doing these pick'ems and DraftKings DFS Q&A sessions on Sundays, and then releasing start sit videos. So look out for that for the rest of the season. Thank you everyone for all the support. This has been a lot of fun. I'm addicted to fantasy football, so I'm not going to claim to be the smartest, but I probably look at fantasy football 20 of the 24 hours out of the day. So I at least have that much eyes on it. So hopefully I can provide some value for you guys. And if not, you can just come in here and tell me how wrong I am in the comments section or while we're live. But again, thank you everyone for the support. I hope you guys enjoy week 3. Go out. You have 40 minutes to get you some snacks, get you some guilty pleasures, maybe grab a 12-pack for the games today. Hopefully the fantasy gods are in your favor on this Sunday. I'm praying for that as well. But thank you guys once again. Week 3.